Excuse me, Cutethlhu. I need a day off. Oh man. What's that? Cutethlhu, I can't really hear you. I am too busy having a time of my life. What? Cutethlhu, I'm trying to play. What do you mean? What do you mean? Oh my god! Oh my god! Look, Cutethlhu, if that ever happens again, you need to be a little bit quicker on the draw. Okay, a little bit more assertive. Okay, we can't have what? Oh my god! Okay, hi, hello. Hi, how's it going? I'm back. You know what? I'm gonna try something different today. Oh. That's right, I got the green screen back. Hells yeah! Hello and thank you for returning after all of the chaos I throw at you. Today, we're gonna talk about something near and dear to my heart. President of Valve and brain implant connoisseur Gabe Newell is known for many things, but chief amongst them is starting projects and never finishing them. It's no surprise to anyone in the PC gaming space that Valve have a reputation for doing what they want, when they want to do it. This has led to many gamers making fun of their lack of numerical ability. I mean, for almost 20 years now, it has been a long-running joke in the Valve community that they just don't have the ability to count to 3. It's just not possible for them. I mean, for fuck's sake, how do they count to 2 twice in the same franchise? How do you do that? It's like they're asking to be made fun of. And then there's the many hardware projects that Valve has had over time that never really saw much post-launch support. Take the Steam controller and Steam Link, for example, two varying really good pieces of tech that kind of just came out too early. They never really caught on to an audience because that market wasn't really available yet, and they just didn't stick around. But that tech was used later on for things like the Valve Index. But the Valve Index has not had a first-party title since launch. This is physically painful to tell you, but Half-Life Alyx came out 3 years ago. Half-Life Alyx came out the exact same week that the pandemic hit the United States. I know this because I got to binge play Half-Life Alyx for a week because my college was completely put on hold. 3 years ago, there have been no Valve releases for the Index, unless you count fucking Hand Lab, but that came out at launch as well, so there have been no first-party titles for the Index. A really, really good VR headset with really cool controllers. But I promise that is a video for another day. So, that now leaves us with Gaben's hefty, unwieldy, surprisingly comfortable and ergonomic deck. It's Gabe's deck, not, I'm saying, Gabe's deck with an E, and I'm not Australian. Believe it or not, this beast has just celebrated its 1-year anniversary, unless you live in Australia, in which case you can go fuck yourself. And while the deck is celebrating its 1-year anniversary, I have only had my hands on this thing for a little over a month. However, I think that's more than enough time to talk about what I really, really like about this and some things that maybe don't need fixed, but I'm looking forward to innovations. Now, all the footage you're seeing for the remainder of the video was captured directly on my Steam Deck via capture card, and so all of this is coming directly from Gaben's big fat deck. It is not hyperbole when I say that this thing has changed portable gaming forever. I had a PSP when the PSP was big, and I thought that was just the science. I thought that was science fiction. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. This guy, holy shit, this is the next evolution. This thing takes the Nintendo Switch out back and gives it the old Yeller treatment. It is insane. This thing proves to me that Nintendo is so far behind in the console generation, they need to kick their ass in gear, man. If Bayonetta 3 had to make artistic compromises to even run on your system, that means your system needs to catch up with everyone else. Come on, Nintendo, I believe in you. I believe in you. But this thing is just awesome. I have been playing through Dark Souls 2 and going for my Dark Souls 2 achievement run, link up here or here or here. If you want to check out that video on achievements, I highly recommend it. But I've been going through Dark Souls 2 on this because it is just perfect. Dark Souls 2 is just great on this thing because it's a controller. I don't normally play Dark Souls games with controllers, but Dark Souls 2 is kind of busted and it runs flawlessly on this thing. And I have had zero issues playing any of the Steam verified games, and even the non-Steam verified games that I've played on this have been absolutely phenomenal. The fact that this game can run Spider-Man Remastered at a rock solid 30 FPS is insane. And you're probably like, well, I can play fucking Spider-Man Remastered on my PS5 at 144 frames. Cool, but you can't take your fucking PlayStation 5 on an airplane with you. I can take Spider-Man with me on an airplane, and 30 FPS is more than playable on something like this. If I'm playing on my PC or a console, yeah, I absolutely want to shoot for 60 FPS, but 30 is playable. 30 has been the standard for decades up until recently, and the hardware has finally been able to catch up and make 60 frames a consistent thing amongst games. So going back to 30 FPS for a game like Spider-Man is totally okay. But Spider-Man is the only game that I have on here that I've been playing consistently that doesn't play at 60 FPS, because this thing, it's awesome. If you watched my video last week, you would know that Valheim and other survival games are just the fucking death of my existence, partly thanks to this bad boy. Valheim has been the best thing to play on this. It has been awesome. I can play Valheim on my computer all day, and then when I want to go to bed, I can kind of just chill in bed and cut down some trees and eat some necktails in my bed with the Steam Deck flawlessly. It's awesome. And the cloud sync between this and my computer, literally flawless. I've had zero issues, like zero, none, nada issues. I can play Valheim on my PC, play it all I want, and then boot it up on this, and my progress immediately carries over because of the Steam cloud saves. It's flawless. It's beautiful. It brings a tear to my eye. Now, if you've never gotten your hands on Gabe Newell's big, thick, throbbing deck, you may be looking at this thinking, that looks wildly uncomfortable. But guess what? It's not. It's a genuine surprise to me that this thing is super comfortable. It's big, it's a little unwieldy, but it is incredibly comfortable to play. Like, shockingly so. It has 4 buttons on the back that it can be changed to any button you want in the Steam OS, and it's got 2 trackpads for any trackpads that you want, and then other than that, it just plays like a controller. It's also got the Steam gyroscope that came from the Steam controller. If you like that kind of thing in FPS games, it feels really well. Like, I have played this thing for hours on end with zero issues with comfortability. Like, my hands don't cramp or anything. It's fantastic. But let's talk about being able to play this thing for hours. Online, the average battery life that people have been able to get out of this is about 2 to 2.5 hours. And I would say that's fairly accurate. However, I don't use this to play the newest Battlefields or the newest fucking Destiny expansion. I don't play those games, right? And I haven't been able to take this on a big road trip or like on vacation or anything yet, so I haven't really been able to put it through the ringer and how long I can keep the battery going. But for what I've been using this for, the battery life has been exceptional. This thing is an indie beast. I've been using this game to play all of my indie darlings. Fucking Darkwood, Domekeeper, Hades, It Takes Two, Slay the Spire, Stardew Valley, Valheim, Vampire Survivors is a blast to play on this with the little trackpad. It's like playing it on mobile, but it's not on mobile, it's on your Steam Deck. And then don't even get me started on Outer Wilds. Outer Wilds is such an incredible game, and it runs so well on this. And that is a game that you cannot play with mouse and keyboard, no matter how much you want to. When you have to get into that spaceship, you just need a controller. and this thing kicks so much ass at it. And so playing these indie darlings, my battery life's been exceptional. I've had no issues. It's awesome. Now, I do want to clarify, I bought the most expensive version of the Steam Deck. For $650, I got 500 gigabytes of SSD storage, their special etched anti-glare screen, the fucking really nice carrying case and charger, and then like some Steam overlay stuff. But for the most part, I bought the most expensive version for the internal SSD storage and that anti-glare screen. This is what most of my friends had bought, and I had the ability to buy the most expensive version, and so I wanted to. But from what I've heard, this thing has a micro SD slot, and if you buy the $399, the cheapest version, you can just slap in a micro SD card and get more storage, and you're perfectly fine. I have heard that the anti-glare screen, like at the end of the day, doesn't really matter if you don't want to drop the money on this, and that's crazy. You can get this performance and this beast for $400? Dude, that is such a fucking steal, man. So for the games that I wanted to play on this, for what I wanted this for, which was just casual gaming, be able to not have to be on my computer to play games, to be able to chill in bed or go hang out with people and just kind of be out and about and still just have games if I want to, this thing kills it. It took all of my expectations and blew them out of the water. I was genuinely blown away. But there is one massive, giant elephant in the room that we should probably talk about. You see, the Steam Deck runs on Steam OS, a Linux-based operating system that Valve created specifically for this device. It takes any non-Linux native game and, uses black magic and all of the different versions of Proton to get them exceptionally well playable on the Steam Deck. But there's a sneaky little button here that says change to desktop. And when you click that button, well, holy shit, let me tell you. It lets you take a peek under the hood and realize that Gaben's giant deck, it's just a fully operational Linux device. That's all this is. It's just a handheld computer. It's not an Apple device that holds and hides everything from you. This is just a Linux computer. Full stop. This thing is fully functional. Steam OS is there only to create a seamless experience for people who just want to hop in and play games. And guess what? It works flawlessly. It works exactly for what its purpose is. But for those of you who want to go in and do whatever you want, guys, this is just a computer. That I'm still baffled by that. The only limits are your imagination. This is just a Linux computer. And by clicking the Steam button and the X, boom, you just get it. You just get a keyboard. You can just type with your keyboard. The trackpads is your mouse. You get a fully functional mouse that you can do whatever you want with, and a keyboard. And you can also plug in external mice and keyboards into this thing and use them just as if this was a normal ass computer. This can plug into your TV, and your TV can be your monitor, and you can have a mouse and keyboard. You just bought a $400 computer. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. If you're good with Linux like my fucking Editor Dexter is, you're done. You don't need anything else. This thing is crazy. But because this is a fully fledged Linux desktop with built-in controller controls, well, it means that this humble piece of technology is now, through open source and fan-made support, without a doubt, the greatest emulation device on the market. If you scroll over to collections and non-Steam games, check this out. I have my emulation station, and then I have my PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 emulators on here. I was never able to play Silent Hill because I've just never really been a PlayStation person. And with this thing, you bet your goddamn ass I've been playing Silent Hill. It's flawless. It's flawless. And I've been getting a solid 60 FPS out of a game that's as old as I am. I don't know how it does that. I thought that game would only run at like 15 SPS, but no. Through the power of Gaben's giant, throbbing, fat, thick, ergonomic deck, I've been able to play Silent Hill, and I'm gonna play Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 3 because these are pinnacles of the survival horror genre that I have just never had the ability to play before because I've never owned a PlayStation 1 or 2. And I tried emulating them on my computer, but I don't have a PlayStation controller, so the controls are all kind of confusing. And while the controls aren't perfect on this thing, because it's obviously not a PlayStation controller, they play flawlessly on this, and I can take them wherever I want to go. Don't tell Nintendo I said this, but if you want to run Breath of the Wild on this thing, I have seen people running Breath of the Wild on this. Mario Odyssey, it's been running on this. If you're like me and you really like the Mario Rabbids game because it's actually kind of a really fun childlike version of XCOM. Now, I don't want this video to act like I have just been sucking Gabe Newell's dick the entire time. And I said dick that time and not deck. Because, well, yeah, I kind of love it, but it's not without its faults. The higher version end device that I bought, maybe I didn't need the most expensive version. You can get the exact same device, but $300 cheaper. I just bought the big one because I wanted that internal storage, but that's the cool thing is that there's different variety. But the thing that I'm most worried about is post-launch support. This thing has been out for a year, and for the most part, Valve has been very good on keeping this up to date, bringing more games verified to their platform, and this has been one of the best-selling pieces of hardware that Valve has ever made. So with any luck, they'll keep working on it, but I'm worried. Valve does not have a good reputation with keeping up with their hardware releases, and I don't want this to be the next one, because this could be the start of something really cool. If the next generation of consoles has a handheld competitor, that would be so cool. Like if you're shopping around for the PlayStation 6 or whatever, but there's also like the Steam Deck 2 or 3 that you can look into, I really hope this thing is carried on, or at least it brings attention to the industry that a device like this, a fully fledged portable computer, essentially, people want this. And people want this really bad. So I hope that Valve keeps with it. Really, besides the fact that I bought the most expensive one and I'm worried about post-launch support, yeah, I don't really have any issues with this. It's given me the opportunity to learn more about Linux. It's been running all of the games that I want it to run on. I'm gonna be honest with you, like I haven't had any performance issues with any game that I've wanted to run on this thing. It really is a special device, and I wanted to talk about it because I think I am just the perfect market for a device like this, and I'm glad I was finally able to get my hands on one after all this time because I have been wanting one of these since they even announced it 2 years ago. And the fact that it blew all of my expectations out of the water is not something to scoff at. Maybe with this thing, we'll see the release of new Valve games. Maybe that's wishful thinking, but if they released Half-Life Alyx for the Valve Index, maybe they're working on a Portal 3 or a new Left 4 Dead game that works on PC, that is a perfectly playable PC game, but also runs flawlessly on this and is just a way for them to go, hey, our new game also runs flawlessly on our portable device. I know it's wishful thinking, but man, one can hope. So thank you guys so much for joining me for another video. I know this one has been a little bit longer and a little bit different, but Dexter, thank you for all of your hard work. I just had to gush about this thing for a little bit. So with that being said, Cutethlhu, do you have anything to say to the wonderful people at home before we let them go? Okay, shut the fuck up! God damn it, I'm so good at my fucking job.